I signed the papers without reading them. My hands were shaking too badly, my head still heavy from the pills they had given me, my thoughts moving through fog. The nurse smiled and told me everything was routine. Temporary observation. Short-term care. Just a few days. I believed her. The room they brought me to was too quiet. No clock. No window that opened. Just white walls and a bed bolted to the floor. A man entered a few minutes later. Doctor's coat. Dark hair. Eyes. He introduced himself as Dr. Hale. "You're safe here," he said gently. I nodded, clutching the blanket to my chest. "Why am I here?" I whispered. "Because," he said softly, "someone tried to kill you last night." My breath caught. "What?" He pulled a chair closer and sat beside my bed, lowering his voice. "Your heart stopped for 42 seconds. We brought you back." Tears filled my eyes. "I don't remember." "That's normal," he said. He reached out and brushed my hair away from my face with gloved fingers. "You're very lucky," he added. I whispered. "Can I call my sister?" His hand paused. Then slowly he smiled. "Not yet." I woke up alone. The door was closed. I told myself hospitals lock doors sometimes. For safety. For patients who wandered. Still, panic crawled up my spine. When the nurse came with breakfast, I asked again about my sister. She frowned slightly. "You don't have a sister." Cold washed through me. "Yes, I do," I said. "Her name is—" "You were admitted unconscious," the nurse interrupted gently. "No emergency contact. No visitors. No family listed." My heart began to race. "That's not possible." She only smiled and adjusted my fore. Later, Dr. Hale returned. "You frightened the nurse," he said softly. "She says I don't have a sister," I whispered. His expression darkened, then softened again. "You hit your head very hard," he said. "False memories are common after trauma." "That's not a false memory," I cried. She raised me. He took my hands. Warm. Steady. "Listen to me," he murmured. "Right now, the only person who knows who you are is me." My chest tightened. "You need rest," he continued. "And you need to trust me." Before I could answer, he injected something into my fore. The room began to blur. And the last thing I saw was him locking the door from the outside. I dreamed of my sister that night. She was standing in the hallway, screaming my name, pounding on the glass, begging someone to let her in. When I woke, Dr. Hale was sitting beside my bed, watching me. Not with a clipboard. Not with concern. With something quiet. Intimate. "How long have you been here?" I whispered. 3 days, he said. "That's impossible." He smiled gently. "Time feels strange when you're healing." My throat went dry. "Why can't I leave?" "Because," he said softly, "the man who tried to kill you hasn't been caught." Fear flooded me. "And because," he continued, brushing his thumb across my wrist, "someone signed a medical consent form giving me full authority over your care." I shook my head. "I didn't." "You did," he said calmly. He stood and showed me the papers. My signature. Perfect. Beautiful. "I'll protect you," Dr. Hale whispered. "Even if I have to protect you from the rest of the world." The next morning, I tried to remember signing the papers. I closed my eyes and forced myself to think back. The ambulance. The flashing lights. Voices. Then nothing. Just a blank space where my memory should have been. Dr. Hale brought me breakfast himself. "You slept well," he said softly. "I had nightmares," I whispered. "That's normal after trauma." "About my sister." His hand froze for half a second. Then he smiled again. "She'll visit when you're stronger." Relief flooded me. He sat beside me and checked my pulse with his fingers, holding my wrist longer than necessary. "You should avoid stress," he said. "No phone. No visitors. No questions." My stomach tightened. "How long will I be here?" "Until I'm sure you're safe." "And when will that be?" He met my eyes. "When I'm sure you won't run." Cold crept through me. Later that day I tried the hallway. The door opened easily. For a moment, hope exploded in my chest. The corridor was empty. Too empty. No nurses. No patients. No sound. Just long white walls and closed doors, each one marked with numbers instead of names. I walked past 10 rooms. 20. Not a single voice. Then I reached the end. Solid metal door. Exit painted in red. My hand shook as I pushed it. It didn't move. A voice behind me said quietly, "You're not supposed to be here." I spun around. Dr. Hale stood at the other end of the hallway, watching. "I just wanted fresh air," I whispered. He walked toward me slowly, like I was a frightened animal. "This floor is restricted," he said gently. "Where is everyone?" "Asleep." "All of them?" "Yes." My heart began to race. "Why is the exit locked?" "For your safety." "For my safety," I repeated. He stopped in front of me, close enough that I could smell his cologne beneath the sterile scent of the hospital. "You're not thinking clearly yet," he said softly. "I want to see another doctor." His expression changed. Not anger. Disappointment. Like I had broken a rule. "There is no other doctor," he said quietly. The words hit me like ice. "What?" "I bought this building 3 years ago," he continued calmly. "Converted it into a private clinic." My breath caught. "For rich patients," he added. "Patients who want to disappear." Fear flooded me. "Am I rich?" I whispered. "No," he said. "Then why am I here?" He reached out and tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. "Because you were dying," he said. "And because you were beautiful." Tears burned my eyes. "I want to leave." He sighed softly. "Not yet." That night I didn't pretend to sleep. Waited. Listened. Counted every sound. At 2:41 a.m. the door opened. Dr. Hale entered quietly. Not in a coat. Not in gloves. In dark clothes. Like he wasn't a doctor anymore. He sat on the edge of my bed. I held my breath. "You're scared," he whispered. "Yes," I said. "Good," he replied softly. "Fear keeps you alive." He took my chart from the table. "You don't have any family listed," he said. "No parents. No husband. No children. My sister." "We'll talk about her later," he interrupted gently. He closed the chart. "Do you know what happens to patients who leave too early?" he asked. "No. They die." My voice shook. "You're lying." "Maybe," he said. Then he leaned closer. "But if you walk out of here tomorrow, and something happens to you." His fingers brushed my throat, feeling my pulse. "No one will know where to look." Tears slipped down my temples. He wiped one away with his thumb. "I saved your life," Dr. Hale whispered. "And now." His eyes darkened. "Your life belongs to me." The medicine worked too well. That was the first thing I noticed. After the injection, the panic faded faster than it should have. The shaking stopped. The noise in my head went quiet. My fear melted into something soft and warm that wrapped around my chest like a blanket. Dr. Hale sat beside my bed, watching carefully. "Better?" he asked. "Yes," I whispered. "Good," he said softly. "Only I know the dose your body needs." That night, I slept without nightmares for the first time since the accident. When I woke, he was still there, reading, waiting, like he had never left. And something inside me relaxed. The next day, he let me walk with him through the clinic. Not the long empty hallways. The warm wing, soft lights, quiet rooms, a garden behind locked glass. "There are other patients," he said gently. "But they're very fragile." He nodded. "I didn't ask to see them. I didn't want to." When another nurse smiled at me, Dr. Hale's hand found my back instantly. Possessive. Protective. His voice dropped. "You shouldn't talk to strangers yet." My stomach fluttered. That night, when the medicine wore off and panic crept back, I pressed the call button without thinking. He came immediately. Always. And when he sat on my bed and held my hand until I stopped shaking, I realized something terrifying. Without him, I couldn't breathe. 2 days later I met the other patient. Her name was Clara. She was thin, pale, and very quiet, sitting in the garden staring at nothing. When she saw me, her eyes widened. "You're new," she whispered. "Yes," I said. "How long has he had you?" The question chilled me. "Dr. Hale is my doctor," I said quickly. She laughed softly. "That's what I said too." Fear crept into my chest. "How long have you been here?" She thought for a moment. 2 years, she whispered. My heart stopped. "That's impossible." "He saved me," Clara said calmly. "From my husband. From my family. From myself." She leaned closer. "Then he told me the world outside was dangerous." My breath shook. "Is it?" She smiled sadly. "I don't remember it anymore." Footsteps echoed behind us. "Dr. Hale." Clara went silent instantly. He placed his hand on my shoulder. "You're not supposed to be talking yet," he said gently. His fingers tightened just a little. That night I cried. And when he held me, wiping my tears with his thumb, whispering that Clara was confused, sick, jealous, I believed him. 'Cause I wanted to. The first time he kissed me, I didn't pull away. It happened quietly. I was trembling after a nightmare, clutching his coat, begging him not to leave. "You're safe," he whispered, brushing my hair back. I looked up at him. "Too close. Too warm." "You're the only one who stays," I whispered. His breath caught. "I'll always stay," he said softly. Then slowly, he kissed me. Not hungry, not rough, careful, like he was afraid I would break. My body froze for half a second, then melted. When he pulled back, horror flooded me. "I'm your patient," I whispered. "You're mine," he said quietly. The words should have terrified me. Instead, they made my heart race. From that night on, the medicine only worked when he gave it to me. I only slept when he sat beside me. And when I thought about leaving, the thought of losing him hurt more than the thought of being trapped. After the kiss, nothing was the same. He didn't touch me again. Not right away. And that was worse. He became careful, controlled, distant in the way men are when they're trying not to cross a line they've already erased in their minds. He still brought my medicine, still held my hand when I shook, still watched me sleep. But now his eyes lingered. When nurses passed, his body always shifted slightly in front of mine. When I spoke to anyone else, his jaw tightened. "You belong in your room today," he told me one morning gently. "Why?" "Because I want you where I can see you." My stomach fluttered. That afternoon I found Clara's room empty. Her bed was gone, sheets stripped, no chart on the door. When I asked a nurse where she was, the woman blinked in confusion. "There is no patient named Clara." My breath caught. That night I asked him. He didn't lie. "She tried to leave," Dr. Hale said softly. "What happened to her?" I whispered. He hesitated. Then quietly, "She remembered too much." Terror flooded me. "You killed her." "No," he said gently. "I cured her." I shook. "Where is she?" He touched my cheek. "Somewhere she can never be hurt again." I didn't sleep. But when he came later and wrapped me in his arms, whispering that I was different, that I was stronger, that he would never let me disappear like the others, I let myself believe him. Because the thought of becoming Clara terrified me more than becoming his. 2 days later he let me outside. Not free. Just into the garden without glass. Real air. Real sky. My heart raced as I stepped onto the grass, the sun burning my skin like something I had forgotten existed. "You're doing very well," he said proudly. "Can I call my sister now?" I whispered. His body went still. "I told you," he said gently. "You don't have a sister." "Yes, I do," I insisted. "She's been looking for me." Silence. Then slowly he said, "Would you like to see her?" Hope exploded in my chest. "Yes," I cried. That night he brought a tablet to my room. He sat beside me on the bed, too close, one arm behind my back. The screen turned on. Video played. My sister, standing in a police station, crying, holding a photo of me. "I can't find her," she sobbed to an officer. "She was discharged and then she vanished." My hands flew to my mouth. "She's alive," I whispered. "Yes," Dr. Hale said softly. "Where am I?" cried. "You're where she can't reach you." He paused the video. "Do you know what happens to women who go back to families like hers?" he murmured. "They get controlled. Locked into lives they never chose." Tears streamed down my face. "She loves me," I whispered. "So do I," he said quietly. And the way he said it made my chest ache. That night he told me the truth. Not all of it, just enough. "There was no man who tried to kill you," he admitted calmly. My heart shattered. "You overdosed," he continued. "On purpose." I stared at him in horror. "I didn't. You wrote about wanting to disappear," he said softly. "You bought the pills 2 days before." My memories swam. Flashes. Bathroom floor. A bottle in my hand. Crying. "I found you," he whispered. "Your heart had already stopped." Tears poured down my face. "You could have let me die." "I couldn't," he said simply. He touched my cheek. "That was the moment I knew you were mine." Fear and something darker twisted inside me. "You kept me here because you wanted me." "Yes," he said. "And because the world failed you." My voice broke. "You erased my life." "I gave you a new one," he whispered. He leaned in, resting his forehead against mine. "You can leave tomorrow," he said softly. My heart leapt. "But if you go," he continued, "your sister will tell the police about me." My breath caught. "And they will ask why you were declared dead for 4 minutes." Silence. "And why the doctor who saved you changed your records." I stared at him. "You trapped me." He closed his eyes. "I protected you." When he kissed me again that night, I didn't stop him. And that was the moment I realized I was already choosing him. The night before he said I could leave, I didn't sleep. Not because I was afraid. 'Cause I was thinking. About Clara. About my sister. About the way the medicine only calmed me when his hands held the syringe. At 2:12 a.m. I heard screaming. Not mine. From somewhere deep inside the clinic. A woman's voice. Begging. Then silence. I slipped out of bed and followed the sound, barefoot on cold tile, heart hammering in my chest. The hallway I had never been allowed to enter stood open. Inside, a room glowed softly. And Clara lay on a narrow bed. Not dead. Not cured. Strapped down. Her eyes fluttered open when she saw me. "You stayed," she whispered. My breath shattered. "They said you were gone. They said I remembered too much," she murmured weakly. "He said you wouldn't leave him like I tried to." Footsteps echoed behind me. Dr. Hale. He didn't look surprised. Only tired. "I told you not to come here," he said softly. "You lied," I whispered. "You kept her prisoner." "I kept her alive," he replied. Clara began to sob. "He erased me," she cried. "Please, don't let him do it to you." I turned to him, shaking. "You said you loved me." "I do," he said quietly. "Then let us go." Silence stretched. Then gently. "I can let one of you go." My blood froze. By morning Clara was gone. Not freed. Not dead. And he never told me where. The clinic buzzed with panic that day. Police cars. Questions. My sister was close. So close. That afternoon, a nurse slipped into my room and whispered, "Your sister is downstairs." My heart exploded. "She's with the police." The door behind me was unlocked. For the first time. No guards. No cameras. No Dr. Hale. Ran. Down the stairs. Past nurses. Past offices. Until I saw her. My sister. Standing in the lobby, crying, holding my photo. I almost screamed her name. Then I felt his hand close around my wrist. Dr. Hale pulled me gently into a side hallway. "You can go," he said softly. My breath hitched. I removed your file, he continued. Erased your records. They'll think you left on your own. Tears streamed down my face. You're letting me go. Yes. Hope broke inside me. And Clara. He looked away. I couldn't save everyone. I looked at the open door. My sister. Freedom. My legs shook as I took one step. Then stopped. 'Cause I imagined the world outside. The memories coming back. Police. Questions. Pills. The loneliness. And I imagined nights without him. Without his voice. Without his hands steadying my heart. He whispered, if you leave, I will disappear. My chest hurt. I won't survive losing you, he said quietly. Silence swallowed us. And turned back. We left that night. Not escaping. Running. Together. New city. New names. A new clinic. Muller. Hidden. Safer. Sometimes late at night, when I wake and see him sitting beside my bed with a syringe in his hand, watching my breathing like it's the most precious thing in the world. I remember the door. Lobby. My sister's face. And I wonder, did he save me? Or did I save the only monster who ever loved me enough to let me choose my own cage?